This time, we're going to have the,
Stephen.
call for the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda as presented?
No.
All right, hearing none, it'll stand approved as presented. Approval of the previous meeting minutes. We've all been given copies of those in advance to review. Any amendments to the minutes?
No, I reviewed it. Good.
Okay, hearing none, we'll add those to consent agenda for approval. We'll have the review of the personnel status report. Any questions on that tonight? Okay, hearing none, that will stand approved as presented. Under board appointments and or proclamations, let's see, we have, this is Adoption Awareness Month, the month of November. And so all citizens of Dade County recognize that all children need love, support, security, and a place to call home. So we have recognized the month of November 2025 as Adoption Awareness Month in Dade County. I encourage all governmental agencies, community organizations, and citizens of Dade County to participate in related activities supporting adoption and lend support to families who have already experienced the joy of adoption.
As someone that's been down this road, you know, the adoptions is serious, you know, and the thing about it is that it takes time, effort, and energy because these young kids, they come with baggage. Let's not pretend like they don't, you know what I mean? And there's no telling what all they're dealing with, but you can work it, right? And years later, it takes that long, right? They're fine young kids, right? And it's good for them. So if anybody is interested in that, they can contact me and I can tell them about it, and it's a good thing.
All right, that's wonderful. We'll add that proclamation to the consent agenda for approval. And appreciate Bob and his wife, Nadine. They have an adopted child, so like many others in Dade County. Proclamation for Hospice Month. It's Home Care Services and Hospice Month. And so we recognize that as well in Dade County. The home care services provide high quality and compassionate health care services to more than 5 million Americans annually. And so we recognize the need for this. Hospice is I think we have, I'm not sure how many hospice we have in Dade County, but I know there's at least 3 options for hospice care. And so we recognize those folks as well as the nurses associated with those programs and thank them for their efforts. So we'll add that to consent agenda. We have on here also resolution 41 and 42. And 41 and 42, what that is doing, it's for a resolution for appointment of a member to the Dade County Special Use Permit Board. The District 4 area, of course, is Bob, South Dade area.
District 3.
And District 3 is the Lookout Mountain. Is it 3? Or
No, 4 is Lookout, 3 is me.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yep.
You got it. 3 is you and 4 is Lookout. So if you're interested in serving on this board, Special Use Board, it's a board that was created not that long ago for the need to, if we ever have a need, mostly industrial uses, that is a question to coming into our community. That if they're a permit filed, then they would, that board would be considered first, that permit, and then forward that on as a recommendation to the county commission. So do either of y'all have a recommendation at this
Just please,
time?
no, we don't. Please reach out, anybody out there that would be interested in this, because it's desperately needed. I know in my district, we need somebody for a while now, so.
And I know what I'm good at. Facebook is not one of them. I tried to put a little note on there the other day, and somehow it put this crazy blue and pink background. The print came out, you need a microscope to read it. So I'm going to try it again to get word out, you know, and but it's just like Melissa said, we need folks to serve on this board.
Okay. So no recommendation tonight, but be aware of that. And if you are even in another part of the county and have an interest, just reach out to us and let us know. Maybe we could entertain that as a possibility. All right, number 6 on the agenda, I'm sorry, 5 on the agenda is capital improvements, and that it falls under SPLOST. I have Alex Case here for some information about some servers.
This is regards to our county government IT and all of our public safety. In a lot of our due diligence of moving from what Windows 11, we've also had some server issues that has brought up on us. 4 of our servers that are currently here are needing some replacement due to the age and capabilities of what Windows 11 is requiring through, and just some of the updates that we had planned for. You have the estimate there of the servers. What we give will be 3 servers, and with some of the newer technology, we have 4 current servers. And this is running 31 different server applications through public safety and for the Dade County government. And some of those are our Cardinal system, which does our transfer station, our Dade County controller, the Magistrate SQL server, eTrieve, Smart Fusion, our wireless server system, the Dade County Tax Commission, which is a property taxes that stays in here, our Solomon Safety, or Solomon, which is our current accounting software that we will have to retain for several years to back up from what currently moving forward. SQL, the WinGap. WinGap is the system from the tax assessor's office. Our file server, our mail server. There's 15 of those, and there's 16 servers that runs our public safety, which is all for 911, the jail, the sheriff's office, and all that from all the procurements of it. So this takes us to a bigger solution that we've talked about, redundancy and backup if something does happen, and keep us in continuity of operations in case something happens here. So the 3 servers are $19,906.25 for a total of $59,418.75. And this is working with our engineering group and what we designed to fit our system that we're currently doing as well.
Alex, I know sometimes if you're just transferring from one Windows to another and that kind of thing, is all the data and everything is Lightfoot helping to make sure that whatever?
They've been our engineers for almost 20 years.
Okay, and they're gonna help us transition?
Always do, yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir. These folks is what engineer, what keeps us safe, does all of our firewall technology.
No, I'm glad to hear that they've
Yes.
been with us and they're gonna help us transition. Yeah.
Lightfoot and Networks Inc. was the 2 that merged.
Okay.
This company done a lot of the hardware when we were working with them, and them and Networks Inc. improved, and we've been with them a long time, and that's who we use. They're on 24/7 retainer with us for public safety wise.
I'm with you, yeah.
And they're part of us to really, so.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions?
I'm assuming you want this to come out of Splosh?
Yes, SPLOST fund,
Which department?
our IT.
All right, you're already 112% over budget at this point.
All right,
I can't help that,
we're
what
about
things
to
are costing.
talk about that under tab number 8. Nope, tab number, what tab is it, 6? Okay, yeah.
And those SPLOST for projections were when we were building SPLOST several years ago to project from 21 to 27. Or we can divide them out of the departments that need them. It's same thing with the units that we purchased to replace the surplus units that are under item 8. We've got 50 workstations that were replaced. Right at it.
Yep, it is over budget, but we're talking, tab number 6 is a reallocation of certain SPLOST funds because we've brought in additional revenues through SPLOST, so it will balance that. And Rebecca, have you got anything to add to that?
I understand balancing it, but where we since we're gonna talk about it later, but right now, where are we gonna pull it from?
I mean, that,
If we're reallocating, we're gonna take it from somebody to put it in here.
No,
or use the additional funds. We're expecting, how much is it, $5.3 million over what we estimated when we first did our estimates back in 21? Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Is
one
that-
big thing- That's one big thing with these laws. They are estimates, and they are estimates that have been, right now, made 5 years ago. So, you know, I try very hard to put them in, when we approve things in the meeting, they go in the right spot, where they actually should fall. And then, you know, you guys have the authority to be able to reallocate that.
So out of that 5.3, does that include what we're gonna spend on the elections building if we build it?
correct.
Yes.
That will have to come out of that.
Yes, it's going, on that revised allocated cost, it's going up to $2 million.
Okay.
And just so I know the process, when you say we're gonna have 5.3, is that based on the current rate that we're getting in?
That's what we've got in so far.
And you
then we're
figure it
gonna-
out over the next several months, is that the deal?
Yeah, there's 22 months left.
Yeah, that's what I
something
mean,
like
okay.
that. Yeah, yeah, and we do, based on our historical through the last.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking, Rebecca, so I
Yeah,
know.
that's what we
Okay.
do. Yeah, that's what I do.
Any other questions?
So do we have to say yes to this, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anybody against it?
No.
Okay, all right, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval.
Could I reiterate on item 8 while I'm here? So I've got to run to another.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's surplus property,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
yeah. Okay.
all the workstations that we've got. You can see them down the hallway here. We've been stacking them up. We're doing 5 to 8 PCs a month, working with each station throughout the government.
Yeah.
A lot of these PCs were at Windows 7 and went to Windows 10 and some of them just wouldn't make it to Windows 11. And we have learned with some of the earlier machines, we've run into this with some laptops as well, that upgraded to Windows 11, but Windows 11 has taken additional upgrades, which is antiviruses. It's stuff that's getting hacked Windows 11. We've had several that it's not upgraded to the most current packs of Windows 11 through service packs, so we've run into some other issues that we didn't anticipate. Because they send out security updates monthly. We've had 2 in the sheriff's office that has come up and said unable to update to Windows 11, going back to the manufacturers, but that's just an example that we're running into because they've went 2 other series of Windows. But we have those 50, right at 50 units out there. When we brought them back in, we removed all the software from them, pulled the hard drives, and destroyed the hard drives is what we do. We actually take them apart and we bust them up inside the 911 center with a few of the folks through the nights and stuff. And last time we done this, we palletized them, shrink wrapped them, put them on pallets on gov deals, and they stayed at the county barn for 2 years. Nobody ever bid on them. So we end up taking them to our scrap section to pack with our scrap metal to carry off. We could try that again if y'all want to, if we have to through the surplus, but they sat on pallets at the county barn for a couple of years till Billy asked us to move them. That's where we ended up taking them.
Okay.
So
That's number 8. We can go ahead and you got any questions about that? That's disposal of 50 microtronics, computers, medium-sized chassis, assorted motherboards, no hard drives, and operating systems. So,
Yeah, I say scrap them.
Yeah, I say get rid of them.
yeah, it's just declaring them surplus property.
Yeah. All right, they're declared surplus property, now we get rid of them. Okay.
Yep, all right. We'll add that to consent agenda. Back to number 6. This is, we have to do this periodically, and periodically usually means about the 4th year of a SPLOST. We evaluate, and the auditors require us to do this, by the way. The state also requires us to take a look at the original allocated cost that we associated with the different projects that were identified on the SPLOST referendum, and to make any kind of adjustments, because just like Philip pointed out a little while ago, things do get out of balance, and what probably was it county projects? Is that what it was? Yeah. County projects was listed originally, at 170,000. So if you look at the spreadsheet that's attached to our resolution R-43-25, you'll see this. We'll go through it. The ones that have amounts changing out to the right is the ones being suggested that we update. County projects was 170,000 original budget, and suggesting that go to $1 million. That is an $830,000 increase, and I'm just going to ask Rebecca to chime in with me on this. That is a big jump for that, but you see county projects, that covers a lot. And so that's everything that's not really closer or has a better identification tag, inside the referendum. Most of these items you can see, like assessor's office, like a vehicle or a public works or a library, they have specific natures to them. But county projects is one of those titles that's rather broad. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, currently what has caused that increase, it's the matching grant funds for the forest land, that $500,000, that's been put in that $1 million amount. We did have a payoff of a Chevron Energy loan earlier, back in 24, 25. And we paid that off for about $228,000. And that's where, when we bought a new maintenance truck, because our maintenance truck went out, it went to county projects.
So those are the big items. I mean, there's probably smaller items in there too, but that's that particular line item. The next one is, of course, the elections building. Is only estimated once upon a time at 400,000. That is currently 2 million. It may not come in at 2 million. We're trying to get that down, like we've been talking to the contractor about 1.7, but currently it's listed at 2 million. That's a $1.6 million increase.
Have they heard back from all their subcontractors? They were gonna do that value engineering drill. Have they heard back from them yet?
No, we're waiting on the drill, the down at the site where they were doing.
Soil compaction.
Soil compaction. We're one of 4 companies or vendors they have out there awaiting. So we're just in line, and they have not heard officially back yet. So
The last time also, though, when we changed it from 2 levels to 1, et cetera, they were gonna go back to their subcontractors and get revised cost estimates. So they kind of owe us that too, I think.
they do, and I don't have that yet.
Okay.
Historic courthouse originally was 1.8. Of course, when Blevins Construction Management came in and did was our construction manager, they estimated that at 1.9, and that still remains on budget at 1.9. I don't think they've quite spent the full amount, but it's close. It's 1.8 something. Yeah, it's very close, Rebecca says. So, but anyway, that's an increase of 100,000. Parks and Recreation is a reduction. We'd estimated 800,000. At the time, we talked about trying to put in LED lighting early on, but we never succeeded at that because that was even more than 800,000, I think, at the time. It was a whole, It is a goal to see that all the lights at some point in the future are changed over to LED. It does provide better lighting, candle wick power or whatever they call it, the actual lighting for games, and I don't know, we've heard all that before. But anyway, so that is something in the future, but that's reducing that to 200,000. We'll just go through this and then have any questions. Public Works equipment was listed at 200,000. And I'm going to talk about Public Works roads and bridges was listed at 2.4 million. The Public Works equipment increased 770,000 to 970,000 total. And the roads and bridges paving went up to 4.5 million, 4,550,000. And the reason those were estimated originally at 202.4 million was we had hopes in 2000 and 2001, 2020 and 2021 of passing a T-SPLOST. At the time, that was also on another upcoming ballot, but it failed. And so we have, we've used those grant funds. We've used some of these as the matching funds to match the grant funds for our paving of roads and also the purchase of equipment to use to pave those roads. I don't know, I can't think of all the different equipment we've got down there, but trucks and whatever, and even the paver, the lease on the paver. Let's see, senior citizens building, we're on 600,000 down to 200,000. And the reason there's a reduction, we mostly ended up using ARPA funds to do most of those renovations that's been done to the senior center, the new ceiling tiles, new LED lighting, the floor, painted the entire building, new kitchen equipment, and so and office furniture. So again, most of those funds came through ARPA, and so that is a legitimate reduction. Sheriff's Department jail has increased from 900,000 to 1.4 million, 1,450,000. And that is, a lot of that's got to do with the price of vehicles. I mean, simply, they used to be 37,000, and now they run anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000 after you add the vehicle, the package, the intercept package, lighting, striping, and the IT that goes into a vehicle. Along with, what else is on that?
Generator.
The generator. That was a biggie over at the jail, was the generator to back up their facility in times of emergency. And so, but that was a hefty amount of that. And then the technology infrastructure, I guess that's actually where, is that what you were looking at earlier, technology?
That was one of them, yes.
Yeah. That's from 400 to 750, and that's basically what we just considered for approval. The servers, our IT, the backbone of the system, the redundancy that they built in, that's phone systems, computer systems, anything information technology related, the screens hanging on the wall, it's anything IT. And so that is an increase from up 350,000. So that is a total change of $5,350,000. And we have, you say, well, where did $5 million come from? Well, that actually is because Splost and Lost and East Lost has come in healthier over the last 4 years than we anticipated. Now, this is an anticipation that will continue to and it's a conservative estimate, not going above and beyond what has happened the last 4 years. Looking forward for over the next, did you say 22 months? Yeah, 2 years or so. So we anticipate bringing in that additional $5.4 million. That also does mean that the city of Trenton will get some extra funds as well. They get about 16.28% of our SPLOST dollars that come in. The county SPLOST as being included in the original intergovernmental agreement. So those are some additional funds that can be utilized by the city as well. And so anyway, any questions?
So, are we gonna bring in 5.3 million more, or are we bringing in 4.3 million more, and $1 million of it's what we're reallocating from off the sports complex, and the other moving it to a different department?
From our total, what we originally allocated, or the total we thought we'd collect, we are going to collect $5.35 million more than before.
Okay. So on the county projects, why did we take, for the Trust for Public Lands with the Community Land Project, why are we putting that 500,000 under county projects and not just leaving that money into Parks and Rec?
It can do that.
You could do that if you want
Yeah,
to. If you
I
feel
can
more,
move that around.
yeah.
That's fine. And so in that instance, Parks and Rec would only go down $100,000.
Okay.
And county projects would only go up $330. That's fine. I had just been putting things for Parks and Rec that was for that park down there, like whatever we did for
Well,
the park.
if this comes
But
to
it's-
tuition, it will
yes.
be a park for
Yes.
the county and the community.
So I think it would fit in there. Yeah.
a good idea.
So when we take off the 400, and this is just for me, when we take off that like the senior citizens bill, when we take that $400,000 off, is it going in to cover the others that's 400 and 120 and
It's
160%
being
over budget?
reallocated somewhere else, yes,
Mostly around roads
right, yes.
to pave.
Okay.
Dr. Pullen, any questions?
No questions.
Yeah, I'm
Bradford?
well informed and good
I'm
with,
good.
yeah.
All right, hearing no other questions, we'll add it to the consent agenda for approval. And the auditors will definitely be happy. All right. Resolution, let's see, number 7, R-44-25. One time in our history, I think it was 2009, we had a new commission, and I think it was 2009, yeah. And, yeah, and because of the timing, we had an actual new majority on the board. And at that time, that was Ted Rumley, I can't remember the other two, probably Sarah Moore, and
Was Robert Goff on there?
maybe Robert Goff, yeah. And so at the time, I don't know if Robert was here yet or not. No, I don't think it was Robert. It was,
My dad was.
but I don't know if he was new. I don't
Oh,
think he
no,
was-
he was not new.
Yeah. Anyway, because of that, we had a meeting on New Year's Day. Ted, we did not change that meeting. We had it on a federal holiday. So we're not in that situation. So what I'm suggesting is that because of that, we changed our meeting date for January 2026 now, and give plenty of proper notice to the local media and our website that we'll be having our meeting. Instead of January 1st on New Year's Day, we'll have it the following Thursday. I guess that's January 8th.
Yes, thank
Any
you.
discussion? All right. We'll add that to consent agenda for approval. We've already taken up number 8, which is the disposal of surplus property. Number 9 is well, it still says on the agenda amendments to code of ordinances, chapter 14, animals. We've talked about this since February, March timeline, I don't know, this year. And we decided about 60 days ago, I think it was after September's meeting, to just do a complete rewrite. We had more changes from the original ordinance coming through than we did on the proposed amendments being added. So occasionally, it's just wise, we did this a few years ago on the alcohol beverage control ordinance, where it's just easier, it's an easier read if you're picking this up for the first time to go through it, just to rewrite it in its entirety. And so that's what has happened. All the recommendations from the TDAC board, which is the Trenton Dade Animal Center board that was appointed, and suggested changes from each county commissioner has been entered into consideration through our county attorney really over the last 6 months. And so this is that final version. This is very much the same version you had last month. Robin, is there anything that may have changed?
Very little.
Yeah, very little.
I know there was one thing about a question we had the other day. It was talking about the administration of or inoculation for rabies, and it had wording, I can't remember how it stated.
Yeah, and so that wording has been clarified.
Yeah.
Because I think originally it said, it had new rabies vaccinations every, maybe April 1st or March 1st, and we changed that to, we had discussion about whether it be 12 months or just the previous vaccination that expired. And so
Yeah, because we talked about some vets give them for 3 years versus 1.
Yeah.
So we addressed that. That's good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that making a motion to pass this, please.
Well, this will be our first reading, so
Okay.
official, actually. But it was also from a state licensed veterinarian versus someone just at TDAC.
Yeah.
That could be a tech or something. I think it has to be
It has to be a
a
vet.
state licensed veterinarian.
Read for the next month. Okay.
So, you have to have 2 readings. Have we had an official reading? Okay. Attorney says no.
Can this be?
Yes, it can be. Any other questions? Philip,
I have a lawyer question.
okay?
Section 2-1, when it talks about restraints of animals, and as you keep going on down, then it says, on the unrestrained on the property of any other person or on any public right-of-way, roadway, or street.
Where are you? What?
Article 2, restraint of animals,
First paragraph under
first
Article 2.
paragraph. So basically, I've got to have my dog on a tie or in a fence.
So, if you look at 2:1, it says, it just that it needs to be, if it goes off your property, it needs to be on a leash or what have you. If you look at 2:2, there's an exemption, and what it says is that, an exemption is if the dog does not pose a danger to itself, the traveling public, or a nuisance to any other person, livestock, pet. So, to answer your question, if it goes off your property, and someone complains about it, you've gotta get the dog, you've gotta bring it back on a leash. So if they find it on the road, same thing, if it's a danger to the traveling public, you gotta get off the road. Okay.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah, my dogs-
least amount of, that we could put in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying.
My dogs, they're fed in the morning, they go for a recon of Deerhead Cove Road, right, through the day, they come back and get fed again, and they spend the night with me. They used to live at the pilot station, and everybody would give them leftover sandwiches, right? But then we got them fixed, and now they don't go there anymore. You know, it's just one of those weird kind of a things, you know, but I understand about, they're not a nuisance to anybody. I have other people's dogs come on my property, I pet them, everything's good, and they go home, you know, so. If it becomes a nuisance or a danger, I got it, but if it's just a dog walking around, it's okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we can interpret that 2 different ways then.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
All right,
That's
that's the
all
way I interpret it.
That's all I need.
All right. Okay, so in December's meeting, it'll be the second reading of this Funkin' Wagnalls Encyclopedia here, and we'll be done, right? Okay, good deal.
Bill, did you have any?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I
great.
got this thing memorized.
He does. He's made several amendments. We appreciate that. Any questions? Are you all good with putting it on the consent agenda?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Everybody? I'm not hearing no, okay. All right, number 10 is the proposed solar ordinance. So we had last month, a recommendation for a solar panel, or just a proposed solar ordinance. I don't know what to call it. And on the agenda, it also says moratorium on solar permitting at the current time. It was recommended also that perhaps this issue could go before the special use board. I've given all the commissioners a copy of the special use permit board ordinance and to review just in the meantime, but until a permit is filed, there's nothing for them to consider. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the special use board, is for them to consider a proposed application. So nothing's been filed at this point, so we really don't have any use for the special use board at the current time. And I'm not even sure if
Well,
it
I-
meets the criteria in the
I have
future anyway.
information on that, too,
Okay.
so.
But okay, so go ahead. This has got your name by it. I'd love to hear it.
I know. Well, there's been a lot of research into it the last few months. I have made some trips and checked some solar panel, I guess, I don't even know what you call them, lands.
Sites or whatever.
Sites. home versions and for-profit, both. And we have one that would like to start getting land prepped for it. And I feel like we need to really look over this, make a good decision for what our people need of Dade County. Through all my research that I have looked at, I feel, I never want to tell anybody what they can and can't do on their property, but I am definitely for some setbacks. I don't know exactly at this point in time what that is. I haven't come to a conclusion for myself. And I would like for us as a group to make those decisions and have the time we need to make sure that people that want to do this for profit are good. People who want to do this for their housing is also good. So I have talked with a couple of engineers that are willing to talk with us about it for more information. They're working with Georgia Power. The client is willing to, I guess, talk. I don't know who they are. I haven't spoke with them. But I hate that it's kind of this way, but I feel like we need to stop and make sure that this is wrote out clearly and what the people of Dade County would need and want for their neighbors to have this situation next to them and what it looks like. So that's why I'm calling for a moratorium to kind of figure this out.
How long are you calling for?
Well, I mean, I'm not for a large amount of time. I mean, if there's a couple of plans right now that are wrote up, that different plans for different counties. I feel like Robin could probably reach out or do some research about what other counties and the way things are. I mean, it's a lot of legal stuff, so I feel like it's kind of, other than what I want, it's a little above me, what I would want my neighbor to have, or because it does affect properties around it. So my suggestion would be that Robin does his job.
Okay, well, so, to answer Dr. Pullen's question, so you typically see moratoriums like this between like 90 days and 180 days, something like that. And if you set it at 90 days and we still need 30 more days, we can always extend the moratorium, but that's kind of a rough framework for what you typically see.
Like coming from the foxhole of chicken farming family at 3 different locations, I kind of have a slightly different outlook. There's a side to me that says if you're out in a rural environment, right? You know what I mean? There's property here and there. It wouldn't bother me at all if somebody had set up solar panels 20 feet from the end of my chicken houses. I mean, my property where my chicken house, wouldn't bother me at all. However, if I'm in a subdivision, right, you know what I mean, somewhere, and there's some property there, and the guy bought it, and all of a sudden there's all these solar panels there like crazy, that would bother me, because that's a different environment, and for reselling homes, and that would have an impact.
What about opposite of that? What if
Go ahead,
you
please.
were, your chicken home, your chicken house?
My chicken farm, yeah.
Was not your farm, it was your farm that you live in, and this huge acreage is solar farm.
Well, I mean, I have farm managers that live on my chicken farms. I don't think it would bother, I don't think it would bother anybody. Not at least on the chicken farm side of things. But we can get together and discuss this, because there's a lot of ebbs and flows here we got to address. Okay.
Philip?
90 days would be pushing it with me. I would be good with a moratorium for at least 60 days, but I think if we're gonna do 60 days, we need to bring something back next month and have it
Yeah,
ready
I
to
agree.
discuss.
Okay.
The only thing I can see on this is maybe a setback with trees or something around it.
That's how,
The other issue is, like you're talking about subdivisions, we don't have zoning, so you're either
I know.
in the city or in the county.
I know, that's the dynamic there. I'm just saying, I just see that as a black or white kind of thing, the way I look at it.
Right.
yeah, and I feel the same way, Philip, like just a setback of some sorts, but I don't know what that is. 50 feet, 100 feet? I don't-
Maybe 50 feet to 200 feet, you're still gonna be visible. It's gonna have to be a buffer of trees or something,
Yeah,
you know? That's my biggest thing.
I agree with that.
Dr. Pullen?
I agree, there needs to be some kind of a setback, but I don't know, I mean, we've got some guidelines from the IDA, there's some guidelines about the composting thing. And I don't know what the one is for solar farms. But to me, we're in November, construction, I don't think is gonna start too much. It's gonna be wet weather, bad weather. I'd say at least 90 days up to 180 to digest this thing and get everything in.
Well, from my understanding of the plan is it's much more than construction. It's all the things that come before that and applications and to go ahead and get that in line before, that's kind of the last thing that happens is the prep of the land. So all that takes time, so I'm good with like a 60 to 90 days. But I definitely would love something across the table next month.
Okay. So do we need to have more discussion right now about the proposed ordinance, or how do we get information to Robin to help draft what you'd like to see?
I'm really hearing two different things. One is
Yeah.
the setback sort of ordinance that we'd have in place. The other is, bring it as a special use that would come from the special use permit board. I don't know if the setback would necessarily have to do that, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, that one, I think would be, for me, I think it'd be cleaner and easier to do the setback than it would to come up with the, criteria that would be applied for the special use permit board to evaluate that, as a solar farm. So, all to say, I do need, give me your ideas about what that setback might look like, and I can be looking at that as well, so. So I will try to have you something,
Well, that is a question for this board too, is, you know, we could put in an ordinance that we agree on, but then where does that come across as? Does it come across, I mean, they have to have a business license, they have to go through all of those different organizations
Okay.
to get, so is that good enough? Or do we want to also make them go through something through the office?
Good question. So do you want to, is this, the ordinance going to establish a permit for solar, I mean, I would call it commercial solar farms. If someone wants solar panels on their house for residents, I have no problem with that.
Well, we would have to
whatsoever.
define that though
Right,
in the ordinance.
and we would have to, that would need to be defined as, you know, but now if it's, and even if I want to have 10 solar panels in the backyard to hopefully get around paying George Power a penny, I'd be happy with that. I'd be more than happy about that.
Sure.
But it's when you start selling off property to, you know, and then you've lost control of that property, so you really can't say much about it unless, I guess, well, you could if you put covenants on it, but anyway, then you would have to determine how do we, I mean, what does that look like in the future as far as permitting? Is that going to be commercial? How many solar panels constitutes commercial? Are they selling to utilities? You know, I think, I agree with Philip. I think the vegetative variance or buffer zone, and then having best management practices in place. You know, what I've tried to envision this month, thinking about this, is looking at the side of Lookout Mountain here, And if someone were to come in, if that owns the property, they basically almost clear cut it, which that's gonna be tough to do with EPD watching too closely, because it's hard to cut the side of a mountain off completely, but they came close not too long ago. And then that person sells the property and they put 700 solar panels on the side of the mountain. And every night, when the sun goes over Sand Mountain, it lights up like a big, just boom. I really don't want to look at that, but now that's just me personally, I think it would take away from our community and, but that's a possibility. Now, are we getting into telling people what that they can and can't do with the property?
Right.
That's a tricky little matter, right? So that's where we are. Okay, so go ahead, Bob.
I think if somebody wants to put solar panels on their roofs, let them go,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we have to give permits for them adding on little things in our houses, we could do that if we needed to, it's no big deal. I had for 10 years numerous solar panels at both of my chicken farms that are located in Georgia, right? And then I sold it back to Georgia Power, right? But nobody outside my chicken farms could see my solar panels. You'd have to be on the farms and looking for them.
Yeah.
So that's a viable thing for someone to do. But when you drive by and you see acres and acres of those things, that's different.
It's bad.
Yep.
I've traveled and seen it. and-
So have I, that's what I'm saying. We just had to figure that kind of dynamic out.
So Robin made a good point. We probably need to go 90 days with it, because then we could bring something to him next week, get it to the next month's meeting, and then have the 2 readings, so we can put it into February.
Okay.
Is this something like some of the chicken houses where they went around to the state before they came through the county? Is this something that can be done?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But can they do that with a moratorium?
So, I was interested in what you were saying. So with the moratorium, and what we would be saying is there'd be no permits issued. That's soil erosion, business license, nothing that we
Okay.
permit
Okay.
would be issued here that 90 days.
Okay.
For the purpose of solar
That's correct.
farm.
That's correct.
Okay. Do y'all want to approve that now?
Yes,
Without,
where do we want to go? 90 days?
I believe 90 days.
I can go with the 90 days,
Okay.
90 to 180, no more
Well,
than
that'll
that,
give us-
no less.
That'll give us some time for,
I'd rather say 90 days, so that way we don't diddle-dally around with this thing and we make something happen, right, in a timely fashion. And if we happen to need another month as we get down to the wire, we'll ask for that or something. But 90 days, I'm in support of that.
Okay.
90
So
days.
this is a moratorium on solar farming, whatever, or any kind of permitting.
Commercial
Commercial solar farms.
Yeah, permit,
Well,
any kind of,
it's really solar farms.
just anything outside of residential. I mean,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
tricky. It's tricky until we can define it, but anyway.
All these things. are-
90 days and,
Okay, I probably shouldn't bring this up, but
okay,
when the special, we're having to recruit for the special use board, and it said in there, the purpose of the special use board is to decide what type of industries come in, et cetera, et cetera. If we're not using the special use board for this, then why do we have it?
well, did you read that or have you already read that?
Yeah, I looked at it the other
Okay.
day. It just talked about industry and,
Yeah,
Right.
it's,
well, I guess it all depends on how you interpret it.
Yeah.
it
You know,
is.
I interpret it as,
I think you possibly could, but it's not doesn't clearly state that.
Okay.
But for now, it's just until we can come up with we don't have an ordinance in place to permit any kind of activity. And so until they filed a permit application to have one, there's nothing for the special use
no,
board to consider.
I understand that, Sue.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but then that throws in a whole nother, we don't have an application for that.
No, well, we don't have an ordinance for it.
Right, so.
But we might have it based on what,
Yeah, I'm for that.
Okay. So Robin's authorized to create a document for us to initiate as of tonight for the moratorium of a 90-day restriction on solar commercial grade activities. Didn't say farming, I just said, anyway, limiting through the use of permitting for such activities.
But that doesn't sound like the route we're going.
That's just the 90-day, you've got to get with him on the proposed solar ordinance. You need to
Okay.
give him advice as soon as possible to start drafting that, to propose at next month's meeting.
Okay.
All right. Are we good?
Yep.
Everybody? All right.
Pop the whip.
Yep, we'll put that, place that on the consent agenda for approval. Okay, memorandum of understanding, that's tab 11. Back about 4 years ago or so, we were approached to update the memorandum of understanding, the one with between the Board of Regents of the University of Georgia System, by and on behalf of the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension and Dade County. Prior to that, it was pretty much, I think, 10 years that we'd held a MOU that had been in place for at least almost a decade. It may have been 8 years or so, but it was close. It's good to do these MOUs a little more often, of course, than 10 years. It's really good to do them actually at least every 4 years. So this one has come to us from the University of Georgia's Cooperative Extension, which is our, extension agency over by the middle school. And basically in the agreement, it updates, the contacts, the HR contacts, the IT contacts, all that kind of stuff, not only at the county level, but at the university level. We 4 years ago or so changed from there's 3 addendums in here. The 3 addendums are A, B, and C. And those addendums, basically, addendum A, it directs or discusses cooperative direct pay. That means the state of Georgia, the University of Georgia system pays their employees that are here directly. And then without pretty much the county having anything to do with it. The B, which is, they prefer B or C because there's a local supplement that's paid. We were, prior 4 years ago, addendum C. That's where the county paid a portion of the funds, and I'm take that back. Addendum A is actually where we pay 100%.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, I said that wrong. We pay 100%. C is where the county pays the supplement to the employees through our payroll, and then the university system pays them a check as well. We found that there were issues with that when it came to any kind of cost of living, that there was some assumptions made that if the state were to give, say a $5,000 raise, then that person would also, the county may be subject to give another $5,000 raise. And that is not how we felt like that should go. Now, typically, the state gives percentage raises, not flat raises. But anyway, it is possible that can come about. We did change that to what's called Addendum B, and that is where actually the university pays 100% of their employees' pay to them directly, and then they bill the county, is it quarterly? Quarterly. And then we pay that quarterly amount in arrears back to the university system. The system pays for all the insurance, retirement, SUTA, state unemployment tax, and such as that, workers' comp. The county then pays a reimbursement back to them for income tax, their salary portion, and whatever's been agreed upon that's based on each year's budget. There was an opportunity that came about over at the Extension Agency this past year where one of the employees chose to submit an application for a job posting for Dade County. We were aware there was a job posting, but we never were told anything more than that. The county was never invited to the application process. In the past, the county's always had a seat at the table to at least give our opinion of who they're wanting to place over here to make sure that is a proper and a good fit for the community, and to work with our farmers or work with students or work with whoever and citizens. So on page 8 of this, under Addendum B, we recommend that we do stay with Addendum B, where the university system pays them directly, but we reimburse them based off what's been agreed upon on an annual basis. But under Section 3 of that, we've asked them to add the language, UGA Extension will extend an invitation for a representative from county government to serve on the interview committee for all county extension personnel. We do have a new employee. Don't know if you've had an opportunity to meet her yet. Laura Beth is still with us. She actually sees the day-to-day operations in the building, but there is another person there from an agent standpoint. I can't remember her exact title. Do you remember, Philip? I can't remember what it's called. CEC or C, I don't know. Anyway, we just felt like we weren't invited to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to
Now,
have that.
you
on
know,
It was-
I don't want to blame the young lady at all that's
not,
been
yeah.
appointed. She seems like a very nice person, qualified person, and we're not trying to get rid of her. I mean, she's here, she's working in Dade County. It's just the process kind of went south, in our opinion. And so we're been in contact with them, and so we're actually mandating that language be put in there. And the only other changes, I think, was it just the names, changing of names?
Changing of names, yeah.
Yeah, the handwritten note was what you just read.
Yeah, right. Okay, so Philip and I sat through a meeting with the primary HR personnel contact, Clinton McRae, and he's from Griffin, Georgia. And good meeting, but I think when we all left, everything was pretty much clarified that we weren't completely happy with the situation, but we recognized the problem with the document. So hopefully this fixes that, and that's what we're suggesting. Any questions?
I definitely concur with it.
Agree.
Agree.
Philip, have you got any recommendations?
You read that section, like, when it says it's subject to the approval of the county, then go to the bottom, then we've got to write, we have to approve in writing reasons for disapproval of the appointment.
Yeah.
Does that still state, or sound like it states that we can reject anybody that they appoint, and they have to get somebody else, or?
So the first part, subject to the approval of the county, that does. Are they requiring that we state in writing the reasons why?
Yeah, the bottom line, the county will provide UGA extension with written reasons for each disapproval of an appointment recommendation.
Little concerning, I mean, no doubt, I mean, but probably not the best wording, I think.
You want to take time to reword it?
Yeah.
All right, I have no problem with that. We want to make sure it's right. And so we can rename this the 2026 agreement, because, hey, what's one more month? I'm good with it. I mean, if you want to do you want to give him permission to do it, or you want to bring it back and read it in a public meeting?
we'll have to redo it, and then we got to send it back to them, correct?
Well, we can send it to them. They may not want to sign it. but-
Right. And I think that will be an issue, but
Yeah.
after that meeting, I think it needs to be pretty specific that we can agree or disagree with who they want to give us.
Okay. Well, if you'll rewrite that with a little stronger language, maybe submit that to the commissioners and see if everybody's happy with it. They get back with you, and then we can submit it down to Athens and then let them chew on it and send it back to us if they're.
It just sounds like
satisfied.
they're giving us a chance to disapprove, but if they don't like our reasons, then we're still
No, I-
gonna get who they appoint.
I totally agree. I'm just, well, I won't say much more about it than that. So anyway, it was a kind of a heated moment or two in that meeting, but anyway, it went well though. And again, don't hold that against the new lady at the office. She's there and she's sure fine.
No, we're talking about on the modus operandi of how you choose somebody.
Yes.
We're not going against
Right.
the lady that's down there at all.
That's right.
Well, I hadn't even met her before the
No,
meeting. Like,
yeah.
I was in this meeting without even meeting
Right.
her.
Right. Me too.
I know.
But Athens has got to understand is that whoever this person is that we're interviewing, they're gonna be working with us locally, right? And we need someone with we need another Laura Beth kind of person. I mean, UJ loves her. You know what I mean? When I went to the training there and they were setting stuff up, I walked up there and said, hey, and I just mentioned her name and there was manna from heaven, buddy. You know what I mean? It was amazing how much they love her. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I think this one is the same also. She has high qualifications, but I still agree that we need to
But we
be a
just
part
got
of that.
to, because years from now, we'll be doing it again, and we want to make sure we've got the right techniques to do it.
Right.
Okay.
All right, we'll table that till next month's meeting. And again, Robin, if you'll just send that out to us and hopefully we can submit that and get that back for consideration at the December meeting. 12. This is something that we've talked about a long time, but Melissa would like to bring a proposal to you tonight.
Okay, so we have gathered in the opiate settlement account around 150,000. This has been going on a few years. We have taken some out of there for the sheriffs for Narcan and gloves and stuff like that for cars and so I have had this on my mind and just really been thinking about it, that there is this money available and what's the best way to use it. I've talked to several counties. I've talked to people who actually are involved in rehabilitating people coming out of jail or just addiction. And so I've talked with Joe. Joe works with a lot of these people, and Dawn and I have talked quite a bit. And so I got with Kathy, our grant writer, thank God for her, she's so great. And we got together, and so instead of just coming up with an application, I wanted to have it completely done. So there's a form that you have to fill out, there's a checklist, and then there's a proposed policy and procedures of how this is filled out, and then there is a grant form request. So this is for organizations that deal with these types of people or situations or living conditions or any of that. They could come and fill out this application and it's going to come across the board, the commission board, and the 5 of us would vote to either grant them the money that they request or deny them the money they request.
Doc, what do opioids do?
They're mentally, physically addicting.
Yes, I know that, that's what I'm saying, but help me out here. You know, I kind of understand when an organization gets these drugs, right, and they give them to people, what happens? I mean, help me out.
Depending on what they give them.
Okay, all right.
There's different things you can give them. You can give them substitutes. Well, you could give them some lesser opioids, take down the dose. You can give them something else. to keep them from going into withdrawals and having things like seizures and stuff. But you have to substitute something or taper them down. And it takes mental and physical conditioning
Okay.
to get them off.
Okay.
And you have to support them to keep them from relapsing.
No, I understand that, okay. So I'm not saying that this could happen, but the Hands Up ministry could come,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
apply for this, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I understood the battlefield we're in here.
Yeah, so the monies, the funds, have to be used for certain.
And this money is money just for this, correct?
Yes,
This
so
150K.
this funds are, they're there. The research that I have looked into said anywhere from 8 to 10 more years, they'll be coming from Big Pharma, different drugs, that has caused these problems. So these organizations, most are nonprofit, that are dealing with these people and these types of things. You know, they're doing everything they can, like Hands Up is a great group in Dade County. I want these funds to go directly to Dade County people, to help Dade County people. When you have a drug addict and you turn that person into a recovering drug addict, you have a better citizen that's going to contribute to society. And so that's kind of my goal is, you know, if they, just for instance, Hands Up, if their board member comes in and they say, hey, we're really struggling, we need some more housing, we need X amount of dollars.
So it can be used for anything that supports the goal here?
Yes. Not directly to a person,
No, to the institution that's
to the
requesting.
institution, yes. It's mainly, that's all that it's gonna do. And it would come directly from that account, directly for that item.
And if you recall, 3 or 4 months ago, Bridge Health,
Yeah, they were here talking.
formerly known as Lookout Mountain Community Services, came before us and requested those funds. There are federal organizations, state organizations, and regional organizations that also get funds. And so sometimes different groups have access to different funds. I'm like Melissa, I just want to see whatever funds are used, help Dade County people, you know.
You know, this is just a little personal thing from Bob. You mentioned Big Pharma, and I don't trust them people at all, right? I mean, you know, they find cures for other things that come up, but they're still messing around with cancer. I think that's the biggest nonsense I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? The Big Pharma, they're making billions of dollars off of cancer support, right? And if they really cared, we'd have a cure. That's just my soapbox for this tonight.
Yeah. Well, my request is that we vote on this, get it through. So we've been kind of sitting on this funds for close to 2 years, or a little over or under. I think it's a good thing for Dade County. I think these funds could definitely be used. So I would hope that we could push this through.
Totally aside, doesn't have anything to do with yay or nay on this, but I'll tell you my story about how the federal government promoted opioid addiction.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, I'm very black and white about people that get themselves in trouble this way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very black and white. You know, but on the other hand, I had 2 people today that Nadine and I tried to help a while back, right? And they relapsed there for a while, but they're straight as can be right now. You know what I mean? So it's great to see when somebody comes around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel the same way you do, Bob,
Yep.
on that. But I really feel that if this organization that is requesting this they're working hard.
I'm not
And-
saying they're not.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what, no, I'm saying
Yeah.
whoever that comes
Yeah.
to us.
And I think that we just need to narrow the shot group down and say, okay, how are you gonna use the money?
Yeah,
Right?
well, and that's
there.
why I wanted it to come across this
Yeah.
5, because there's 5 different minds in here that can agree and disagree on who that organization is and what they're wanting the money for. I didn't want it something just to go across the office or something like that, so this is out in the public, it would be, people
Yeah.
would know who it's going to.
I reviewed your application thing here the other day, you know, so, okay. All righty.
I'm good with this. My question is, are you mandating them that they be a 501c3? Do they have to be? Does that weigh in who, if they're an organization, they're not that, does that weigh in, does that take in your point scale of who we're gonna give this to, does that weigh in on that?
That's a good question. I mean, that's why I brought this across. I mean, we could,
That's the only, I mean, I like it. That's the only thing that I see is I don't necessarily think it has to be a 501c3.
Right.
okay.
I think there's people that does work. I just, you know, because it's asking here if you, but it doesn't say that you have to be,
Right.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, mine is that, you know, these funds are not, somebody comes in and asks for 150, like, no, you know, like, it's gonna be legit things that, you know, like a car, a big bus that needs to drive people to meetings or whatever they need, or, you know, like legit things that people actually are gonna need. It's not gonna be just, we're gonna build a whole house and, you know, like, it needs to be reasonable things that we would consider to,
And they'll come and talk to us and we'll decide if it's good or not.
yeah. And I mean, I thought about a cap, you know, like so much money at a time, but I didn't think that was like a good idea. Because we could always come back and say, okay, well, we'll issue 1,000, but we're not giving you 15,000, you know, so that's why I wanted it left up to this board.
It does, if I can say something else again, that's saying in section 4, filing requirements, that we would require them to submit their IRS Form 990, which is a nonprofit, it's, you know, their tax form.
Yeah, I saw.
So if we're
yeah,
gonna require that, then we're requiring them to be
A
that type of
501c.
organization, a nonprofit.
There's benefits for it to be a 501c3 because, you know, you've got basically the Internal Revenue Service has vetted them to a point.
Right,
But to go through the paperwork and have a paper trail, at least to be able to find someone. But I see your point. I mean, there could be a corporation that's for-profit that does an outstanding job
Yeah.
locally. I just want to make sure that the money's used, the money that Dade County's been given just assist Dade County people. That's what I worry. When you start giving it to regional people, you know, are they using it for salaries and fringe benefits or, you know, I mean, it's like giving to missionaries. If you give it to a missions company, or not a company, but whatever you call them, the people that send the missionaries out.
yeah,
You know, how much does that missionary get at the very end? Are they getting out of $1? Are they getting 25 cents? Or are they getting 2 cents? Or, you know, I mean, anyway, it's that kind of thing. So, but the 501c does add legitimacy, but it could be a 501c4 or 6 or I don't know what the different kinds of things that are out there.
what do you feel, Robin?
Whether to require 501c3. So that's not a bad idea, but there are entities I can see that would not follow that. So I would just make it a factor to consider, but not an absolute requirement to be that. The other entities such as, there could be governmental entities or churches or may or may not be 501c3.
So this is my take on this money. No matter how the person got to taking the pills, I've had several friends that's passed away from this. One of them was in a bad car wreck. He got hooked on at the hospital and then never backed him off and he died, 30-something-year-old. But the people that go through the program and they get out of it, take the money, if they've done good and they went through the program, they're out and they're doing good for themselves. They're the ones that lost everything, their house, their car, their family, everything they've had, they've lost because they got on it. If they're out and they're doing good and they've got a job, why can we not help get them a place to rent? So you take the money, you pay first month's, last month's rent, that gives them $2,500 or whatever, gets them into the place, that helps them out, helps them back. I have an issue with giving it to a 501c3 that's gonna divvy it up the way they want and do other things with the money. They can say they don't, but they do.
Well,
I think it
feel like
needs to
we
help
had
them,
on here-
the person that was affected.
I think we had on there.
yeah, there's a reporting, like you
It
you
said
have
the
to
specific
report.
use of what you're gonna use the money for.
Yes,
But you tell somebody that just went through the program, they've been given half their paycheck away to cover their housing and their food while they're in this program. They get out, they do have some money, but that would help them be able to afford a place on their own and get started. If you really wanna help them, that's how you help them.
well,
If they went through the program and they're in the right direction.
that is a possibility also, like, and I'm just, and I know there's more out there, but either one, Bridge Health or whatever, like, they could come and fill this out and say, this is what it's going to. We're going to pay directly first month's, last month's rent to this situation and this, and it could go across this board and we can make that determination.
Okay, let's just, going back on what Phil said. Like the two folks that were at my place today, right? You know, they worked hard today, right? And we gave them cash at the end of the day, and I don't regret having them there at all because they busted their tail for us today. Okay, but can then an individual come in here and say, hey, I have employees, so to speak, working for me, right? And, you know, they need a little bit of help financially to get really set up in the community. I'm just asking,
Yeah.
could we support that or not?
That would be a hard one for me to say.
Okay, well, but someone could come here and talk to the commission, right?
Well, so
I'm asking.
in that scenario,
Yep.
I would say, I would tell that person
Yep,
who was in charge of that, go talk with these groups, these groups that deal with that, and talk to their board, let them know your situation, and I don't really know
And
how
see if
that
they could help.
works. And see, I mean, that's how kind of
okay, that's fine, I
things work like that.
was just sitting there thinking there's gonna be
You know.
different scenarios. you know.
But if you, you start that, that's like every probably worker in Dade County that works on,
No, I'm just saying,
you know, so.
I mean, I'm just thinking
And
that,
that's why I was trying to.
I've seen these people go from one end of the spectrum to the other,
Yeah,
and I'm very proud of them, you know, and I told them that numerous times today, you know, so I was just wondering.
yeah, I would not be opposed if they went to one of these organizations and said, hey, this is what's going on. And their board member came in and we chatted,
Okay.
you know, went across this
I just wanna
board.
plant that seed.
But I just don't know
case it
about
comes
a
up.
single person.
Okay,
like
that could open up Pandora's box, and I
I
understand.
think it totally would.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And there's not that many funds available, you know, 150 goes pretty fast. So
Okay,
it's gonna be a selected over the next however many years that these monies last.
okay.
And it does say, eligibility, Philip is a Dade County resident. Funds must be used for approved opiate-related purposes. Funds must be supplemented, not replaced. So we could always add something in if we see, you know, like if somebody does this and comes to us and we go, oh, well, we missed that, we could always
Okay,
reevaluate it.
good.
Is this a good start tonight? Do you want to approve what we've got presented here?
I think it's a good
I'm
start.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
I appreciate it, yeah.
I mean, add it to the consent agenda for approval?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, having no other business on the workshop agenda, we will stand in recess until the regular meeting begins. Commissioner Woods if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to begin tonight's meeting. We could all stand at this time.
Please. Lord, we're grateful for this day. We thank you for health and strength. Lord, as we enter this time of the year, our Thanksgiving season, I pray that all of us would pause and just look back over the year and see how you have blessed us and be thankful for that. We are thankful for liberty we have in this country. May we maintain that by standing for right and standing against wrong. And as usual, Lord, as I pray this prayer every month, I pray for wisdom and clarification from our commission. May they give us words of wisdom and what's going on in the county. They will help us to be better citizens. In Christ's name, amen.
Face the flag, hand over your heart. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice of this meeting was given in the legal organ of Dade County, and it's been posted in the hallway of the administrative building. At this time, I'll call the roll and have it recorded by the clerk. Dr. Pullen?
Present.
Mr. Hartline?
Present.
Mr. Woods?
Present.
Mrs. Bradford?
Here.
And the chair is present. We have a quorum and therefore a legal meeting. At this time, we'll have citizens' participation, and tonight signed up, we have Mr. Colton Moore. And that, by the way, is Senator Colton Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I come to you today not as a senator, though, but as a concerned citizen. A few months back, my wife and I started our day with two EPD agents on our farm taking pictures of a duck pond that we were building. And they showed up unannounced and uninvited. First time, I believe, in the Moore family history that government agents had been on the property uninvited. And so I called the director of Environmental Protection Division of the state of Georgia, and I asked him what these two agents were doing on the property. He informed me that those two agents were advised by the local issuing authority of a land disturbance on my property. Now, there's only one person that runs the local issuing authority of things when it comes to the EPD, and that is Mr. Stacy Stevens. Now, a few weeks later, Mr. Stacy Stevens shows up on a job site that my dad is doing. This job site is less than an acre, and he demands a land disturbance permit. Now, understanding state law, any disturbance of land under an acre is not required to have a land disturbance permit. I then got some calls from other folks in the community who were also having similar problems with Mr. Stevens, a person who was building his deck, who was being told by Stacy that you could do things or couldn't do things on the purpose of building his deck. Also, another excavator in town was very upset when Stacy came in and shut his job site down, demanding a mining permit. Now, the state of Georgia requires that any disturbance of mine more than 5 acres requires a mining permit. However, this was just a general chert pit. This man was building a driveway up the way and needed to dig some dirt. So I came to the conclusion that Mr. Stevens does not understand state law, especially as it relates to the environmental protection thing. So I did an open records request. To my understanding, it was the most expensive open records request in Dade County history. A lot of news across the state of people submitting open records requests and getting back very expensive bills to get that information back. It's almost a form of extortion to get information. You see, what I found, though, is that Mr. Stevens does not have any electrical certification, but yet he is signing off on electrical permits in Dade County. I've heard this commission say we don't want people's houses to burn down, so we should have an electrical inspector. Well, as it sits now, hundreds of those permits have been signed off on by Stacy Stevens, who has no electrical certification, and if those houses were to burn down, I would suspect that Dade County would have some sense of liability for those burning down. You see, he also has no contractor's license, and he's inspecting people as they build houses or if they do plumbing. You see, this puts Dade County in a very big liability. And unfortunately, Dade County has pushed itself to be a county of code enforcement. And in my entire lifetime, we've never had anything of the such. Now, you see, counties around us, our neighbors, have two different extremes of that. We find in Hamilton County and in Walker County, their code enforcement officers, might as well be a pseudo law enforcement, if you will, as they carry pistols and drive around county trucks. They've also forced people to sell their properties because they can't meet the standard of the code enforcement. Whereas in Chattooga County, there is no code enforcement whatsoever, not even an electrical inspector. So if you want to hook up power to your house, you sign a liability form that says you're completely responsible. To me, that should be the case for someone in Dade County who wants to do anything on their own property. Unfortunately, with this code enforcement, we've heard a lot of people say, well, we'd rather have the state come in and enforce things. Well, personally, I would, because there's only 4 of those agents that cover about 10 counties, and they always show up when there's a big problem, but they're not one person in a county like Dade that doesn't have a lot of things going on, so they're just out there harassing people. And that's what I feel is going on with the code enforcement officer, Stacy Stevens. So frankly, I'm very disappointed and disgruntled with the governance of this county as it relates to that. And I would hope this commission would do something different as it looks forward into code enforcement. We have the independent spirit of Dade County, and if you own your own property and you're doing your own thing, the government shouldn't be giving you permission to do anything because we're ultimately paying property taxes to rent the property therefore. So I asked the commission to reconsider its current approach on code enforcement. I've also heard commissioners say, well, bankers are asking for certificates of occupancy when people try to go get a loan. Well, to me, that's a private contract between a landowner and the bank. The government shouldn't be a nanny state issuing permits to make things appropriate. The government's inserting itself into private contracts, which I don't think is right. So that's all I have, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Stephen Schaefer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I have pretty much the same issue. In the last few months, I received a phone call from Stacy Stevens stating that the county is going to move towards permitting a wide range of specialties in the building, whether it's electrical, plumbing, framing. And then I got into a conversation with Stacy about who's going to be doing those inspections. And the same answer I got, he's going to be inspecting them. And that creates a problem because he is not qualified. All inspectors, according to state law, they have to be licensed by the state of Georgia to become inspectors, which I hope that the commission would at least require whoever the inspector is to have a license from the state as an inspector. Because, I myself am a general contractor, I'm a licensed contractor. We go through a lot of hoops to become licensed contractors. Being a licensed contractor provides an assurance to a consumer, a homeowner, that when we go in, we know what we're doing. Someone said they took a test, and so that is a concern for me because I've had Stacy Stevens on my property many times, inspecting many panels, electrical panels, because that's all we're requiring right now. He's approved them, and I come behind to find that they're not really done correctly by my electrical contractor. So then I call my electrical contractor and have them fix. This has happened many times now. They're fixing things that have been approved by Stacy. When it comes to, also in this conversation that I had with him that he called me about, he's told me that in January, I guess we're going to go towards permitting, pulling permits to build a home, and then inspections. So that will, that I'm assuming will trigger here shortly for him to come inspect our projects. And so, I don't believe that we should go that route just yet, at least not until we have a qualified inspector. And I also think the commission should consider a homeowner if they want to build a home on their property. Other counties do this where you have to live in the home at least 2 years if you want to build it yourself. I think the commission should consider requiring more stringent inspections and permits on builders that come in to build a home for sale, because I think that also, that now you're talking about the safety of the public. If you're willing to build a home and live in it, I think you're willing to take that risk, go for it. Other counties also require professional licensed contractors to do specific portions of a home, of the construction. I know electrical, HVAC require special, licensed contractors. Bradley County does this, Hamilton County does this. If you're a homeowner, you can build your own home without having a permit for it, but certain specialties have to be done by licensed contractors. So I would ask the commission to look at this more closely before we roll out permits and inspections, that we have a qualified inspector first, and two, to allow homeowners. I've spoken to already about 40 citizens in Dade County that have an issue with moving towards permitting and inspections, let alone by an unqualified inspector. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Audrey Clark.
Hello, good evening, happy November. Just a quick reminder to everybody in our county that the Dade County Christmas Parade is on its way, hard to believe, December 13th, second Saturday of the month. The theme of this year's parade is Winter Wonderland. If anybody wants to do their float, their truck, whatever, by a theme. But you can actually do whatever you'd like to do on it. Like I said, as long as it's, clean and nothing all colored or anything like that. So if you need more information, just give us a call down at the Bank of Dade. Again, it'll be Saturday, December the 13th. The parade will start at 6 p.m. Lineup will begin at 5. There is no fee to enter into the parade, and we invite all individuals, groups, churches, anybody that wants to participate to come and be with us, because it's for our whole county.
All right.
And I'm not a senator, although I may play one on TV sometimes. Okay, Colton? Okay.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Audrey. This time I'll call upon each commissioner to make any point of privilege, personal privilege. Dr. Pullen.
If I may have my slides, please. Unfortunately, we had a traffic fatality on I-24 in the north end since last meeting. Little construction update. Squirreltown Creek, the floor base has been poured, the walls, the guardrails have been poured, and currently they're working on the approach to each end of the bridge. I think that's pretty well gonna get up most of the stuff. The temporary bridge will be removed. My understanding is that has not been constructed to handle the traffic for as long a time period as the bridge they're redoing. It needs to go. It might fall in after 20 years or something. So, you can see that they're winding down. Next slide. This is on Sligo Road, looking toward Chattanooga. That's I-24 you're looking at on the left hand. And they've been in there making a turnaround for the school buses because that bridge will be torn down and a new one will be built. And there's been some indication that that bridge could be out for 3 years. So that'll impose a lot of hardship on local traffic. You can see that they've had the track hose in there taking down the trees, and they've been hauling the logs off, and it's created quite a debris problem, some of the driveways, local residents, but that's clearing up, and I think will be gone in a week or two. Next slide. Georgia Power is continuing to beef up and upgrade their system. This is the Morganville substation, and these are recent pictures. It's hard to appreciate those poles in there. They went from wooden poles to, those are all metal poles, the dark ones and the silver ones, and they are very large compared to the old wood ones. And that's my neighbor's cows. He has some good cows. And top right hand, you can see a lot of this, they're adding bigger lines, they're grounding, they've got ground wires in the ground. And in that middle picture, there's a man standing up, and I don't know what that is they're attaching, but they've got two sort of crane-like things in there, and it's waist high on him. But they're continuing to prove and upgrade. The Morganville feeds electricity. The Morganville substation feeds it north on Highway 11 to Hooker. It feeds it up Sand Mountain, and it also can feed it back to Trenton if needed. Next slide. This was at Mom's Monster Cookies, and it was a nice retreat. It was not in my jurisdiction, but I enjoyed it, and I recommend that people go down there and support them and eat some cookies. Next one, next slide. This is the monthly thing, but the stations 1 and 4 continue to have the largest number of calls. And I didn't go back and look, but I think this is one of the only, maybe the only month that we've got some zeros in some of these things, which is good. I mean, that nothing bad's happening. And your EMS totals, that's Memorial and Dade County EMS. And then the coroner had 0 calls, but the sheriff's office, I think these are all kind of average, 1,893 for law enforcement, for a total 911 calls, 2,311. Unless somebody's got any questions, that's all I've got.
All right. Mr. Hartline.
So I'm gonna start with electrical inspections. We done 31 total for the month of September. We done 30 for October, but we did go up. We had 6 new construction temporary poles put in, so that means we got 6 more new houses coming in the county. That's all I've got on that. I got into the sports complex. They've blowed out the sprinklers. They're winterizing. They've shut the back bathroom down next to the smaller ball fields. It's closed for the winter. They're going to start remodeling the middle restrooms, which is over by the tennis courts. We've got the walls up. The floor is poured in the storage building. I'm hoping next week if I can get the pump guy lined up to get in there and pump ourselves in the walls, and then we can start putting the top on it. That's all I have on that.
Mr. Woods.
All right, could we bring up the sports complex slides first, please?
The senior center?
Yep. There you go, thank you. I always start off with this. If any individual or any companies would like to make donations to the senior center, that would be very, very nice. We had a company here a few months ago that sent several $100s, and that was wonderful because it helps the senior center celebrate birthdays and cakes and those kind of things. So if a company wants to do that, they're a 501(c)(3), so that could be beneficial to you as well. Next chart, please. Must point out that there's a new director at the senior center, Larry Walker. His daughter is getting married today, So he's out of town, but he'll be coming here. And, Commission, he's already agreed to come and brief us, in a workshop twice a year, right? On, things that are going on at the senior center and that type of thing. They've served the usual amount of meals, during October. However, the impact of the government shutdown is having an impact. Click it again, Caleb. There you go. Meals in support of the homebound citizens that can't do normal meals, like crackers, Vienna sausages, meanie weenies, and those kind of things have been stopped right now. They're not getting support for that. And the senior center right now cannot sign up anyone else for a meal delivery service at this time. Now, talking to Larry and crew, he says that there's ongoing dialogue, so this could change again, you know, but that's the latest that we have right now. Next chart, please. The senior center always has guest speakers of all types, singing groups down there all the time. They have special events. They celebrate birthdays. They go on field trips. They go on shopping trips, and I say this every month. Please keep in mind that the folks that attend the senior center regularly, and I'm not kidding, this gives them a reason to get up every day. They go down there, right? They have fellowship. They have breakfast. They have a good time. They're just a good group of people. And, you know, for me sometimes when I have to go here, then go here to pick up something else and here to pick up something else, the last thing I'd want to have added to my task list that day is another shopping trip. However, for them, going on a shopping trip is a big deal. It's a big deal. And so the thing about it is we have to support senior centers because, you know, the place is filled with good people that have been part of this community for a long, long time, and they just need help each and every day. Now, I asked for a picture from the Halloween celebration there. So there you have it. That's it for the senior center. Let's bring up the TDAC, please. First thing I've got to say, this comes up routinely. The commission resurrected two interests that were voted on ages ago, right? But nothing happened. Okay? And one of them was the animal center. Okay? Then we got mandated by the state to do this election building. And I'm here telling you we're doing both. It's not or, we're not gonna, because people get on the net and say that. Well, if they're gonna build this damn election building, right? Right, and that's a quote, right? Then they're not gonna do the animal center. By God, we need an animal center. Oh, good gracious. Get off your high horse and just listen. We're doing both of them. We're working through both of them, right? And it takes time, you know? All right, but that's just the bottom line. So don't bother anybody with any more questions. If both are gonna happen, they are, and that's the bottom line. All right, TDAC, we have a TDAC board. Everyone's invited. Some weeks we have a bunch of citizens there and some don't. You all know who all sits on it each time. The last meeting was held this past Thursday at the City Hall, and the next meeting is going to be held on the 18th, again in the City Hall meeting room. All right, next chart. All right, construction cost. The RFP outline has been developed. The mechanical, electrical, and plumbing costs are being developed. The committee agreed on the floor plan. Both the city and the county commissions have approved it. And before anybody else asks, the decisions on plumbing, sinks, HVAC, and intake and play yards have been decided on, right? And the concept is now with an architect. So we'll be getting that back. And just as a friendly reminder, the building itself is going to be 50 by 100 by 12, right? And in the future, we're going to have a groundbreaking, right? In recognition of it, so that'll be a good thing. Ordinance enforcement, we did a little bit of that in the workshop today, but right now, Steve and Tommy are working the job descriptions for the law enforcement officials that will be hired, and they're working through that right now. Next chart, please. The TDAC, one of the first things that we were able to do is through donations by Monda Wooten and Audrey Luck, is that we have a portable trailer. It was used on the 25th of October for a free vaccine clinic for Dade County citizens. And that day, 110 dogs were supported, and 75 of them were from the county. The TDAC provided rabies shots, combination shots, microchips, and city tags as well. A total of 207 total vaccines were given out. 72 microchips were installed. And the thing I want to emphasize here, this is all done free of charge due to various grants and donations by the public. And that's a really good, positive thing. There's no doubt.
Excellent.
And again, public input, I'll say it again, we're working both on the TDAC and the election building. Next chart, please. You know, we're going to talk about Audrey Luck here in a minute, but since Monda Wooten and Ann Brown's here, we got to recognize them, and we should. For years, they've been answering the calls, right? Picking up animals, dealing with all sorts of things, and we're grateful for that. There's no doubt about it. But Audrey Luck briefed us the other day. She took 45 dogs last month, and she shipped out 77. Dog abandonment is a concern. Folks who leave their animals after moving, and we can track those bubbas down. But those who just drop off their animals are both a concern. Now, people call up and say, hey, what am I going to do? There's a dog here. Well, let me tell you, when a dog gets abandoned, the dog's hungry, and the dog's going to look for food. That's just nature, right? So the more they get abandoned, the more they're going to harass people. The next point, I had no idea about this. I don't think about cats hardly at all. 13 cat colonies in Dade County. All right, Ann, you can rub your face. All right, we're still friends. All right, you too, Monda. 13 cat colonies in Dade County, and each one of them have 10 or more cats, all right? So instead of the 101 Dalmatians, we got the 101 cats, right? So they're all there. And again, Audrey goes around. Now, here's the deal. When you drop off a dog, well, obviously you don't care about the dog, or else you wouldn't be dropping it off. But there's a good chance that dog's going to get hit by a car. And the good rescuers go around and handle that as well. And that's it for this month for me.
Thank you, Bob. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, this is probably not where we need to do this, but I would like a job description for next month for Stacy, because some of the things that have been said was not some of the things that I thought he was doing. So if we could do that, whoever that is, and get that on the agenda for next month. I had some records pulled for the transfer station, but what I communicated probably wasn't clear, and so I didn't really get what I wanted. And I've got the last couple months, and I wanted the last couple years to, well, actually 5 years, to just see the difference between years before and years now of what is going in and out, just to kind of compare and let you guys know if there is a huge difference and the usage. But the transfer station is definitely a location that, I say this all the time, that many people, most people in Dade County that don't get their trash picked up, visit that location. It's high trafficked. The workers over there do the best that they can. A lot of times we have some change ups there. It's not really a desirable job that somebody wants to stay a long term, and we just had some retire, which is unfortunate. So, you know, as citizens, be patient. If there's something that you think you could help out with or chat with somebody about, let us know. We'll try to take care of it as much as possible. I usually get more complaints than I get, oh, they were doing a good job. But I drive by often, check things out, talk to employees, and for the most part, it is pretty cleaned up over there. I've had a couple different projects that I've been working on that's had me really busy the past couple months. I have reached out about glass multiple times. I'm not getting any response, so I do apologize about that, but there's not much I can do when I can't get a call back or an email back. So I will keep working on the glass recycling and keep going forward on trying to improve things at the transfer station as much as possible. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And we're going into leaving football and headed into basketball season. We should have a great basketball season, so everybody get out, support your kids in school. They're working hard, going to school, getting up at dark 30, going to practice, doing school. Get out, support them, support the school. It's a pretty awesome what they do. So think about those Friday nights at the basketball gym over there.
Sir, if you don't mind, since you brought up schools, on Veterans Day, right, just as a reminder, right, every school in Dade County does a great job, all right, of recognizing veterans. And so if you can, head out to all the elementary schools in the morning, the middle school in the middle of the day, high school in the morning, right? And please go, because I've participated in them over time. They do a fine job, and it's just a good thing. We're a very patriotic community. And that night, two things are going to happen. The American Legion, again, is going to be orchestrating the Veterans Day Parade, right? And that'll be held here in town. And then right after that, we all head over to Trenton Methodist, right? And they have a God and Country celebration, right? Which is full of great things and a guest speaker. So keep all that in mind on Veterans Day, please.
I have one more thing to add. The Dade County High School softball team made it to the Elite Eight last week. They made it all the way to the top 4, but they were put out by Gordon Lee on that game. So
I
They
do
were
apologize for
fourth
that.
in state.
I didn't forget about them, but you're right. Sorry about that. I have all boys, so I don't think about the girls sometimes.
All right. Before I get into my report, I want to go over a couple of things here. Billy Massengale, Public Works Director, and I have the opportunity to either attend or listen in to District 6 quarterly utility meetings, which are presented by the Georgia Department of Transportation. And this list that you're looking at here to the commissioners, what this is, the top page down there with the asterisk on the left there, we have some different projects that are listed in Dade County, and I just wanted to bring everybody up to par on that. The first is the bridges over at State Route 136 at Lookout Creek. We've heard a lot about that over the years, and I mean, it seems like it's been going on 5 or 6 years now, but they have pretty much completed all of the required coding or the different things they have to get from utilities, owners, Charter Communications, cities, counties, whatever, Georgia Power and Trenton Telephone. The only thing left was Charter, and I think they probably have attained that, or they're about to within the next week or so, and that will complete everything they need to start on the bridge. But they have what's called shelved that project again. It was supposed to begin on December 19th of this year, but they've chose to shelve that. And so when they shelve it, it's just based on funding. Perhaps maybe next year we'll know more about a date in the future. But it could come off that shelf at any time. Other things are I-59 from Alabama state line to State Route 136 here in Trenton. They'll be doing some markings, pavement markings in 2026. And you may see already them starting to put these diamond or design on the interstate where they're going at measuring. Those are for future signs and stuff. So from the, I think it was Arcadis that was going out and doing that work as a subcontractor for GDOT. Then in February 2027, they'll take it from State Route 136 to all the way to I-24. And again, that's just pavement rehab, beginning a process there. Slope repairs, they say will begin September 15th, 2027 over at State Route 136 at Magby Gap. And so that is going to be quite the massive project. And I don't know how long that will take, but we'll know more about that hopefully next year, or within the next 2 years, it looks like. But it's out there a little bit, so we've got some time. Just be aware that they will be working on that. And that's basically, if you notice where the asphalt is just cracked, it looks like a big crack on the left side, like where it's falling. And so we went in and fixed our side on County Road number 6 a few years ago, and probably did it for a tenth, or maybe even more, maybe a 1/32 of what the state's going to be facing. But anyway, it's quite a big project. Just be aware that that's headed down the pike. And then August 2028, they say they're going to replace the bridge that's over eastbound and westbound traffic there. It's the CSX. They named that New England, but I think they're talking about the one at Wildwood. As you're going into Tennessee, there's a train underpass right there, or a bridge, I'm sorry. And so that would be replaced there on I-24 eastbound and westbound. That again sounds like a big job. The big news is what Bill just mentioned earlier, and that is C.W. Matthews has begun bridge maintenance. I called on this. The school system contacted me, and I thought they had talked about, delaying that, but they are not delaying that. That is a $9 million bridge that the state is about to replace, that connects basically Sligo to the Hooker community over towards Highway 299. And so when that begins, when the closure happens, like Commissioner Bill said, he said 3 years. I hope that they said it would take 257 days. I believe it when I see it, right? I think the 3-year mark's probably more accurate estimate. So just be aware that they will, once they start, hopefully they will continue working diligent on that. But that is C.W. Matthews. They've also worked down below. If you've noticed where there's a little creek there, they've cleaned all that in preparation there on the interstate level. But that, again, is a $9 million project they'll be spending there in Dade County. They've estimated the bridge over here at 136 at $5.5 million. Also, I gave you here a copy of a selection of the top 3 state priorities, and these are things that ACCG, that's our Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, are looking at. And so if one of y'all would share this with Senator Moore, I'd appreciate it. As our senator, these are some of the policies and priorities that we're looking at. Long-term, and this is not just Dade County, this is all 159 counties that come together and propose these different things for state government to consider. Long-term transportation funding mechanisms, electric franchise fees, waiver of sovereign immunity, special election cost reimbursement, emergency medical services, increased Medicaid reimbursement codes for EMS, restrictions on the use of speed detection cameras in school zones, implementation of next generation 911 system, tax exemptions for fire services, estimated rollback rates, and that's basically the information that's on the tax bills across the state, and annual audit compliance. Those are the state issues that the ACCG has taken up. And then the federal issues are federal inmate exclusion policy, again, next gen 911, and then housing affordability and accessibility. So those are some information. What we'll do is put this narrative out on our website for you to to take a look at. And I'll also get one of these to our state representative also for his consideration. And now we'll talk about the report. Again, of course, very busy month. We had a lot of trick-or-treaters. We all about wore ourselves out with trick-or-treaters last week. Every child in Dade County should have enough candy to last the next 10 years, in my opinion. I've never seen so much candy given out. But great times at Dade Elementary and Davis Elementary. Had several people representing there, and there's a horrible wizard there in the middle. Anyway, it was a fun time. I'll just say this, at Davis, it was cold. It was nothing like today. It was quite chilly up there last week, but had great crowds and lots of candy for all the kids. Food City grand opening took place. If you haven't had a chance to go by and see Food City, you may be an Ingalls customer, you never go over there, but I'm going to encourage you to go over and visit the Food City. They've expanded greatly. Done a lot of enhancements, not only to their parking lot, with their gas station. They've got the Starbucks coffee and the new credit union there. So take a chance. I know that our American Legion proudly raised their flag for the first time over there, and it's a beautiful flag. It's
It took 10 people to do that. It's a large flag.
It's a very large flag and a very tall pole. So thankful for them to do an expansion here in Dade County and spend those dollars. Dade County Sheriff's Office 2025, they had the trick or treat on the square, again, a success. We know over 1,000 children came through, and you add the adults, grandparents, and other kids, probably around 3,000 to 4,000 people walked through that day. So we're thankful for everybody that participated in that, and thankful for a good and healthy Halloween. I didn't hear of any major disruptions or anybody getting hurt. Davis and Dade Elementary pumpkin painting. If you notice, we give a shout out to all the schools and those classrooms that painted the pumpkins. We did plant pumpkins at the pumpkin patch this year, but the pumpkins chose not to grow. I guess you have seasons where they just don't grow. If you're a farmer, you know. And so they were planted, they tried. If you happen to yourself over on Sales Lane and see a pumpkin, you're welcome to go get it. If you like pumpkins. So anyway, there's a few that grew, but not many. But we appreciate the kids over at the Dade Elementary and Davis Elementary for doing that for us and placing those around the courthouse, the old historic courthouse. The Tree City USA tree marking ceremonies are taking place. If you would like more information, go to our website. We had 2 this past week. Maybe it was Monday. It's been a long week already, hasn't it? But anyway, right over here at the elementary school, Mrs. Rawlings, right? And my first grade teacher, Mrs. Jackie Sams, both were recognized. Those ladies have passed on, but we had family members there, and thankful for them and those all that Tree City USA is doing. Of course, that's mostly a city organization, but we recognize them from the county as well. The eat and greet went very well. We had Chris Clark. He's the president and CEO of the Georgia Chamber of Commerce. And again, if you weren't there, you missed a great opportunity. He did an excellent job of talking about the 2050 plan. Can you believe we're talking about 2050? It's 2025, that's 25 years from now, 2050. So it was quite eye-opening to listen to him discuss what's about to happen in Georgia with our population and possible jobs. If you're young and energetic and you don't know what to get into medical. You know what, there's always going to be a need for medical. And one day maybe I'm there already, I don't know. So anyway, JDA quarterly meeting was held in Dade County, and that's the Northwest Georgia Joint Development Authority. So we had commissioners and representatives from all over 4 different counties represented there in the old historic courthouse. Had a good time. Ribbon cutting for the Lookout Mountain Pickleball Club Stay and Play. And that is on the side, if you're going up Burkhalter, about midway up on the right. There are now some places to rent. Parking was extremely interesting, getting in and getting out, but we made it. And I didn't trust the driver that drove us up there, so I jumped in there and drove us out of there because I was a little nervous on the bluff edge of the mountain. But anyway, but it's beautiful up there, and I'm sure right now the leaves are gorgeous. Train delays in Wildwood. This is nothing new to Dade County. We've all experienced, there's perfect timing, there's a train whistle going off right now. But frequent train delays have been occurring in Wildwood. Used to, they stopped at Trenton a lot, but lately they have been deciding to clog basically from Wildwood through about Morganville. And they've got to stop somewhere. They're blaming this on the yard up in Chattanooga, that they have to wait to allow that train to come in. But we had some children passed under the train, which is not advised at all. I hate for them to miss school, but they actually passed the children under the train and got them to their school bus. And but anyway, again, not advised, but I think if you called the school and explained that, they'd probably understand the situation. Sometimes it's supposed to be 15 minutes. It's typically been running more around 2 hours. Isn't that right, Commissioner Bill Pullen? In about 2 hour delay this past.
Yeah, a little over 2 hours.
It was last Friday is the last one we're aware of, but happens many times around Hummingbird Lane, all the way up down past Carroll Road. So just be aware of that. And also East Blost for Education did pass. We're excited about that. And for the school system, they use that, of course, for buildings and renovation of schools, upgrading technology and safety systems, purchasing buses and equipment, and reducing long-term debt for our school system. The East Blost ensures that everyone who shops in the county, residents and visitors alike, help invest in education and the community's future. So we are excited about that. Understand Walker County passed their Splost, Catoosa County passed their East Blost, Chattooga passed a T-Splost and a Flost. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with their Flost, which is the thing that the General Assembly created for us a couple years ago to participate in. So we'll see how that goes with the reduction of property taxes down there, and maybe something Dade County wants to consider at some point in the future. That concludes the report, and anybody got anything else to say? All right, hearing none, then we'll move on. Under appearances, do we have?
It's me.
Oh, we have Carrie.
Sorry, Sandy is actually at a tourism meeting. So she asked me to present for her and for the Alliance for Dade. There are some pretty big numbers that you'll see on the slides in just a minute, if we can start that. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carrie Anderson, so I work for the county, but I'm also on the board for the Alliance for Dade, which is part of the reason I'm presenting. So we can go ahead and go to the first slide. Here's the social media reach. You can read all of that, of course, but the biggest number is the number of page views across the 3 platforms, which combined is over 1.57 million. So that's a pretty doggone big number. We can go to the next slide. Moving on to the Welcome Center. We again see charts topping stats for both September and October, which is to be expected since fall is one of our highest tourism seasons. But for some perspective, in 2021, the Alliance for Dade helped 12 residents, 43 visitors, and took 18 phone calls. The numbers were similar in 2022, so as you can see, there have been vast improvements to the number of people that they're helping in the Visitors Center. Things have been going so well, in fact, in the Visitor Center that spending in Dade County rose 17.4% and generated $1.4 million in state and local tax revenue, effectively saving each Dade County household $222 on taxes last year. So we'll talk about that again in a minute. So here we see some of the ways. We talk a little bit about Welcome Center tourism in Dade County, but this is something that the Alliance for Dade is doing for citizens and for people in the community, business owners in the community. They have these upcoming webinars. We have 2 slides on those, finding your financing fit for your business, digital marketing essentials, and QuickBooks Online. If you'll go to the next slide, here are some online courses that you can take and some recorded webinars. So we are trying to help people who are in local business or who are interested in local business make really great decisions. And further their education there. You can go to the next slide, please. This is an article that you'll be seeing coming out sooner. There is an accompanying article, rather, that Sandy has written regarding Dade County tourism growth and how it mirrors Georgia's record year. These are some pretty stout numbers that you can look at. And for those of you who are online, don't feel like you have to get all of these numbers right now. You can go online and see those at dadecounty-ga.gov. And if you go to the meetings page or the agendas, you can see this on our Assembly website. So you can go back and look at these slides anytime. You can go to the next one. Tourism's local impact in Dade County. This is where we're talking about that 17.4% growth, lodging $7.2 million alone in Dade County. Tourism-supported jobs went up by 18, looking at 137 local jobs. This is where we're seeing that tourists generated $1.4 million in state and local tax revenue. And because we have SPLOST, that means that that does help save on those property taxes in Dade County. Next slide, please. You can look over some of these. This is just pretty interesting if you're looking at the size of the North Georgia travel market. And the main reasons for people traveling was a little surprised to see visiting friends and relatives at 43% taking the top spot, because we do have Cloudland Canyon, which is one of the most visited outdoor state parks. And as we know, touring and outdoors, which were second and third there, those were expected to be some of our top categories. Next slide, please. More overnight trip characteristics. They're right in line with the state. Next slide. And here's what they're doing. Outdoor activities, 53%. Entertainment activities, 64%. Cultural activities, 35%. Sporting activities, 26%. Business activities, I thought that was pretty interesting, at 22%. Next slide. More about tourism in Georgia, and we will be hosting the FIFA World Cup in 2026. So we do expect to see some of those visitors and tourists as well. Next slide. Here we're talking about what's new in Dade County. You can look through these slides at your leisure, again, by checking out dadecounty-ga.gov. But we do have Still Pioneer Fire Cooking. It is taught by local chef David Hussey, and it's a pretty interesting thing. If you haven't seen that or been to that, you might check that out. Next. Of course, look out Pickleball Club. We just talked about that, the stay and play that we had the ribbon cutting for. This is they rent those out. You see their little cabins there on the bottom. You can rent out the whole set and have your own pickleball tournament. They have 2 covered pickleball courts. Next, please. What's happening next? So we have watercolor houses, workshop, books, little library at Cloudland Canyon State Park. So there's a lot going on in Dade County. Next slide, please. Of course, the Veterans Day Parade, which of course was mentioned by Commissioner Bob Woods. At 6 o'clock, we will have that parade followed by the service. And as a reminder, Dade County Commission offices will be closed in observance of Veterans Day on Tuesday. We also have the See, Sip, and Savor that is coming up, where you can meet local artists and discover some of the local art in Cornerstone Gallery and Gifts. We have forklift training workshop and the next eat and greet, which will have Seth Houts from the Bank of Dade, Audrey, as the next speaker. The forklift training workshop, I did want to hit that and tell you a little bit about that, in that the reason the Alliance for Dade started the forklift training workshop was at the request of some of the businesses in our industrial park. The nearest forklift training workshop was over in Dalton. So anybody who wanted to do a forklift training had to drive across the mountain in order to get that. So this will be our second forklift training workshop that we're doing. It only costs $75. And that is part of our workshop and training that we're trying to work in with the schools too, so that we can get some of those high school students going into things like plumbing and electrical work. So, okay, next please. Also, holiday fundraiser for the Optimist Club, and don't forget the Jolly Holiday Market, December 6th from 9 to 4. That is Saturday at the high school, December 6th. Volunteers and DCHS Motorsport fundraisers. So these are all ways that the Alliance for Dade is trying to help support our community. Next. And remember, Cornerstone Gallery and Gifts is open. You are more than welcome to go shop there if you want to. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Mrs. Almost Sandy White, but Carrie pitch hitting tonight for her. And also, online presentations are available by Mrs. Lydia Sosi, manager of the Dade County Public Library, as well as an online presentation by Mrs. Laura Beth Cunningham, 4-H agent, UGA Extension. So you can check those out on our website as well. All right. I'll now ask Mrs. Rebecca Jones, CFO, to provide the county financial report.
Okay, the first page you'll see there shows the account balances as of October 31st, 2025. The next two pages show our income statement as of September 30th, 2025. Revenues, year-to-date actuals were $2,755,238. Our year-to-date budget was $2,646,367, so we actually collected in excess $108,871. Expenses year-to-date actuals, $3,962,834. Year-to-date budget, $4,079,742. So we are under budget year-to-date, $116,108. The next 4 pages you'll see goes over our loss and SPLOST trends since 2010. Loss received for October 2025 was $248,144. And SPLOST for October 2025 was $310,180. The next several pages you'll see there go over our 2015 and 2021 SPLOST detail. And then the very last page is the year-to-date tax collections. The percentage collected as of September 30th, 2025 is at 12.04%. That concludes the report.
Okay. Are there any questions pertaining to the report? Hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented by Mrs. Jones.
I'll make a motion.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, I'll have a motion and a second. I'll now poll each commissioner to have their vote recorded. Dr. Pullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The motion is passed by unanimous vote. Legal matters. Mr. Robin Rogers is our county attorney. Mr. Rogers, do we have any legal matters to discuss with the board this evening?
No, we don't, other than what we've already done.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there any unfinished business to discuss or vote upon? Hearing none. Under new business, the reading of the minutes of the last month's regular meeting and any special called meetings will not be required since all commissioners have been furnished copies in advance. The minutes are public record and available for review in the county commission office. The minutes are included in the consent agenda and will be considered for approval under new business. I will now ask the county clerk to read aloud the items for consideration on the consent agenda.
Okay, we have approval of the agenda, approval of the previous meeting minutes, the approval of the review of the personnel status report, proclamation Adoption Awareness Month for November 2025, the hospice proclamation for November 2025. We have the Dade County IT, 3 new servers for $59,418.75. Resolution R-43-25, the reallocation of the 2021 SPLOST budgeted projects. Resolution R-4425, the change of the January 26th meeting date due to the federal holiday. Resolution R-45-25, the sale and/or disposal of county capital equipment as declared as surplus property, which is 50 microtronics computers, chassis, and motherboards. The Code of Ordinance for Chapter 14 for animals, it's the first reading. Proposal of the 90-day moratorium, commercial solar farms permitting. Okay. And the Dade County opioid settlement funding policy and procedures.
All right. Excuse me. Is there any discussion regarding the items listed on the consent agenda as presented by the clerk? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by Mrs. Knight.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Let's see here. I have a motion and a second. I will now poll each commissioner to have their vote recorded. Dr. Pullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The motion is passed by unanimous vote. Don't believe there's a reason to have an executive session tonight, right? All right, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right. I'm going to say we're adjourned based on that. I don't need a second.